Hi YouTubers, how you all doing? And I see I've got a couple of new subscribers. Well done people, nice to see you. Right, what's this video about? Basically one of my subscribers has sent me like an inbox message asking about a couple of rigs, and he asked my opinion. So Paul, I've had a look at the couple of rigs that you're on about. One of them I'm sort of familiar with, that's the Cobra. I've seen some Facebook activity regarding them, and I haven't really seen anything sort of negative. But what I will say is, for the price, if you spend a few more quid, you can get much better rig. Okay. Yeah, excuse me, it always happens every time I want to do a video. I start sneezing or something. So what I want to tell you at the moment is there's not a lot of people on CB. Okay, not a lot of CBers in Luton either. So what I don't want Paul to do is go out and buy himself a rig that might just be AM FM on the 19, 19 for a copy, or Roger, or you know, rig check or whatever. No one come back, and that can go on for days. In actual fact, now, I do know there is a couple of breakers on, but it can get pretty tedious. You know, I've been there, done it myself. I did a video the other day, which I haven't uploaded because I cocked it up, ended up deleting it. And basically what I did, I went on the mid block, or the EU block, which is basically where the old AM channels were, and I went through channel 1 to channel 40 about 6 times, and all there was Russian skip. At the moment, for whatever reason, there's a lot of noise coming out of Russia. They're all talking Russian. I think most of them are taxi firms, so they've got no interest in talking to you and I or anyone else. So unless you can speak Russian, it's going to bore you to tears, mate, and it's going to be an annoyance. So basically the bands are pretty noisy at the minute. Like I say, the solar sun cycle and all that is sort of a bit high at the minute. You're getting a lot of skip coming through, and Russia being such a big country, it's obliterating our channels at the moment at times. So what I'm coming to when I say about getting a better rig, I'm talking about a sidebander, right? So just coming back to the video that I've messed up all the way through the channels about 6 times, there was only one person speaking English. Now generally, if you've got a foreigner coming through on the skip and they're speaking English, they're generally speaking to someone within the UK. So that said, I tried again and again and again, just to give people that are coming back on the air an insight on what's going on. Complete waste of time. So then I went to channel 38, right, on the EU block, or the mid band, whatever you want to call it. Went over to lower sideband, bang, Americans. Clear as day. So that's something to hold your interest. I don't know, you might not be into all that, but to me, I'll just sit and listen to them, you know, while I'm doing other stuff. I love the accents, I love the sayings, and of course, if you're lucky enough to put a call out and they hear you, they'll want to talk to you, you know, so you've got like that half a chance, and you'll hear the Americans talking back to us English guys as well. 9 times out of 10 you won't hear the English guy, because the skip don't work like that, but when you've got long skip, it makes good listening. You know, it's an excuse to keep your rig on rather than think, this is shit, off in the cupboard, sell it on eBay. Pardon me. Also with a sidebander, you can go up the band a little bit and go to 27.555 upper sideband, and on there is like the international illegal calling frequency. Like I say, it's not legal, and I don't think it's legal in any country, to be honest, not to my knowledge. If anyone knows it is legal anyway, leave a comment, you know, I'd be glad to know. But you'll hear people on there at the moment, most days, you know, CQ, this is, you know, whoever it is. They, just recently I've heard people in Poland, some Russians, someone up near the Antarctic somewhere. So there's some good listening there, especially if you ain't done it before. You know, it's all good. So, right, benefits of spending that extra little bit of money is what I've just said. And there's a few reasons, really. It's not just the fact that you can listen to the Americans and whatnot. This applies more to in years gone by, but still to a slight extent nowadays. On sideband, people tend generally to have a slightly better setup because they've gone to the bother to get a sideband, and normally they might run an amplifier, they might have a beam antenna or a big antenna, you know. They're sort of, what's the word, like the hardcore hobbyist, you know. They're all pirating the band, you know, and if you're going to get sort of caught for something, rather than getting caught for running 1 extra watt, why not make it a kilowatt? You know, some of them just don't care. What other benefits is there of having a sidebander? Each channel, I'm going to dumb this down a little bit, right, rather than sort of make yourself look a fool and tell you something wrong. Let's just say a channel is this wide, right? Half that, and you've got, say, lower sideband, and the other side will be upper sideband. So you get like 2 channels for 1, if you like. Now the benefit of that is you've got more choice. So let's just say me and a random person made contact, but there was a lot of noise on that frequency. You've got double the amount of places to try and make contact on. You get what I mean? It might be as simple as, there's someone on this frequency, mate, and they're knocking you about a bit. If you're on upper sideband, just say go lower sideband, and that might cure it, just like that. So let me just sort of summarise a little bit why a sidebander might give you a bit more enjoyment. I mean, like I say, Paul and anyone else listening, it might not be your thing. You might get one and think, oh my god, I can't get into this. Well, I'm just going to sort of try and explain the pluses. Pluses are, if you buy one of these new rigs that might be just FM, or it might be a multi-standard with AM on it, they're only going to be a 4 watt rig. There's probably a few exceptions, but generally speaking, the output's going to be 4 watts. If you get a sidebander, something like the DX5000, or the President Grant Mark II, or the President Lincoln Mark II, they're all a much higher output. I don't know what the Lincoln does, probably 20-30 watts, you know, that's the norm really, it's nothing special, but you're going to get out further. So you've got double the amount of frequencies to use, higher output, and generally sideband is far more sensitive, which again extends your range. It's a compressed signal because it's only half the width. And there's a little bit of a Brucey bonus. Generally people on the sideband side of things have got like normally quite a substantial setup, which will help them receive your signal without going into too much of the ins and outs of it. This is to Paul and anybody else who may see this video. There's a Facebook page, it's nothing to do with me, but I'm a member of it. If you go onto Facebook and do a search for CB Radio, there's a group called CB Radio UK. Have a look, you know, gang of lads and lasses in there chatting shit about CB, basically, you know. You can sell stuff on there as well, you know. I have actually got a page of my own. No, it never really took off. I think it's called CB Radio International. There's only a couple of members, but I mean, you're more than welcome to come and join that. It'd be good to see you on that. if you're an eBayer and you know what eBay fees are like and PayPal fees, flog your kit on there, not without any trouble at all. Now, disadvantages of a sideband rig. If you're not used to sideband, you know, for the first couple of days you'll have a little bit of, like, you've got to get used to using the clarifier, and you've got to learn the difference between a clarifier and a KC shift. But it's not rocket science. You can suss it out. Another drawback is for what we call the Muppets, and that's the CB 2781 stamped rigs. You've got channel 1 to 40. Now, if you've got a sidebander, most of them, if not all of the newer rigs, are not channelized for them. You'll have a frequency display, and if you look up the if you do an image search for the DX5000 CB radio, you have to add CB radio, otherwise you get a load of washing machine rubbish come up. You'll see loads of images. You'll see they've got a frequency counter. So all you would have to do is go to you enter the frequency, or go to the frequency, and the 19 is 27781.25. Simple as that. Put a call out, 19 for Roger. You get your Roger, or you can go whatever. And if you ain't used to it, it can get a bit confusing. Going from, if someone says go to channel 1, you've got to know the frequency for channel 1. It's a bit of a drawback, but I would rather do that than be heard than sit there on a 4-watt rig shouting out, not making contact, or listening to the Russians, you know, when you can whiz it over a sideband, you know, and have a bit of, you know, a bit more enjoyment. Like I say, it might not be your thing, but if you're thinking of taking your foundation license, virtually the whole of HF is sideband, so you know you really need to sort of put yourself in that direction. And this is to Paul and anyone, I suppose, thinking of taking a foundation license. If you've not sort of joined a club or whatever, get the foundation license now book. It tells you basically how to pass. It gives you stuff from Ohm's law to a bit about antennas, feeders, etc. So I think I'm about done with the rig thing, Paul, but like I say, money's yours. Obviously if you ain't got the money to spend out on one of these big rigs, fair enough, but I highly recommend that you do it, you know, because I know how many people there is in your area, so copies or contacts might be far and few between on an AM/FM rig. That's my spiel on it as well. And with AM and sideband becoming legal soon, it's a no-brainer, mate, to be perfectly honest with you. If you do get a sideband, you get any problems, call me up on here. Which brings me on to my next thing. Paul, if you got a message for me, message me under one of my videos. Don't really matter what one. I mean, if it's a question about how to wire a mic up, of course, put it on my how to wire up a mic video. You know, keep it a bit relevant if you can, but if not, any of me videos, because when I'll get a notification come through like I just have on my phone, you probably heard it, and B, when I log into YouTube, any messages you or anyone else leaves, I'll get notified. You just click on it, it tells me where the message is and I can reply. And it also helps the popularity of the video. I mean, of course, if you've got something you don't want people to see, inbox me, mate. Well, it's coming up nearly 15 minutes, so I better end here. But there'll probably be a part 2. So thanks for watching, anyone and everybody. And hi to the new subscribers. I'm not really sure who you are, because most of you have sort of got like a private thing. When I look up subscribers, I can't see who you are, but nice one. Up and coming videos, just quickly, it's the difference between an AM/FM rig and a sidebander, and the video after that's going to be about microphones. Thanks for watching, see you soon.